y'all, happy Monday. So I just finished filming my tier ranking for all the books I read in school, and you guys are gonna get to see that on Friday. Oh wait, no, this is coming out on, y'all have already seen this video. I'm currently working on Dirty Girl, the state-sanctioned murder of Shirley Flynn, well, brothel madam Shirley Flynn by Juliette Wells. I've been working through this for a while now. I think I'm about halfway through, and sadly, I accidentally got this corner wet last night while I was taking a bath and reading, and I'm very upset about it. Like, this was perfect and new, and now this. I'm also listening to Stars Above by Marissa Meyer. This is essentially a combination of all of the different novellas in the Lunar Chronicles, and I'm liking most of them. It seems that overall they are kind of just expanding on certain events we've already been told about. So I think I would say these aren't really necessary to read in the story, but I guess they add to it, and I do enjoy getting to see some extra of certain characters. Currently, I think I am on The Princess and Her Guard, which is between Winter and Jason when they are children, and we are learning what happened that caused Winter to no longer use her powers. She mentioned it in passing to, I believe, Scarlet, but now we're actually like seeing it all play out. That's all I have for now. Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Finished the Stars Above novellas, and I have to say I think my favorites were the two that were unseen to us previously or unheard about to us previously. So one was The Little Android, which was basically a Lunar Chronicles spin on The Little Mermaid, and it was sad but sweet. We also had Something Old, Something New, which was basically a 4.5, so it's after the events of Winter, and it's mainly about my babies, Wolf and Scarlet, so naturally I absolutely loved it. I know you're shocked. So I've officially finished the entirety of the Lunar Chronicles series, and now I'm moving on to the next audiobook, which is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alier-Sands, I believe. I'm like 10 minutes in. Really? As I said, I'm listening to the audiobook. Lin-Manuel Miranda is the narrator, and I just love that. It makes me so happy. So far what I've learned is Aristotle is our main character. He is a Mexican boy. He doesn't really have a lot of friends. His father fought in Vietnam, and I think is supposed to have PTSD. It's kind of nodded at. Aristotle's like 15, and he just doesn't feel like he fits in anywhere, especially with like other teenage boys his age. We just met Dante, who is another teenage boy that kind of seems a bit odd and out of place compared to some of the other guys Aristotle has described, and they're forming a friendship. It's pretty cute. That's all we have so far. I'm super determined to try and finish this in like the next 2 days. I'm gonna do it. I swear I'm gonna do it. I have like 100 pages left, and I need to get through it so I can go to the library and get The Dime by Kathleen Kent, so hopefully I can get through all of these by the end of August. I'm so determined. That's all my reading updates for right now, but check out my awesome Szechuan sauce hat. My brother invited my parents and I over for dinner tonight, so we're gonna go hang out. Oh, forgot to mention. So in Aristotle and Dante, Ari comments that he is a pseudo-only child because his siblings are all a good few years older than him. And I relate to this so much. I have 3 older brothers, and all of us are very spread out. We always joke in our family that every one of us was an only child for some point of time. And yes, I totally understand what he means by that. Hopefully you guys will get to see me reading later. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna make myself do it, I hope. Happy Tuesday night. Finished Dirty Girl. Kind of like this. It was very intriguing for how short it was. It definitely took me some time to get through it, but like that could have just been me. There was a lot more Australian politics that played into this crime than I thought there was going to be. And because I didn't know a lot about that, maybe if I had known more, that would have helped out a little bit. However, it was really interesting to see in this how deep corruption ran in the West Australian police force. Although I don't think the author was intending to do it, I do believe that this actually kind of unintentionally highlighted some benefits that would come with legalizing prostitution. Essentially, the madams would work alongside with the cops. Well, no. They would go to the cops, be given the opportunity to open their own brothel, and once they did that, they had to give bribes to the cops to continue running, be protected, and also to fight off against other competitors. This also definitely just showcased like prejudice against women, against sex workers, obviously, against trans people, against gay people, against people with mental illnesses. Kind of feel repetitive at times because sometimes within the span of a single chapter, certain information would be repeated like 3 or 4 times, so that was kind of a drawback I had. But overall, this was really interesting. Don't read a lot about Australian true crime. I have heard some cases from listening to Case File, the podcast, but a good first book to dive into that subgenre. I've also been listening to some more of the audiobook for Aristotle and Dante, and I'm liking it. It's definitely a like teen contemporary. That's very obvious, and Aristotle literally embodies teenage angst. Like, this is also set in El Paso, Texas, which I did not realize. So both of the boys are Mexican American. I do think it's been kind of interesting. Dante has commented that he doesn't feel like he's Mexican enough. I feel like that's sort of an interesting thing we've seen recently in like YA contemporary. People ride the line between two cultures. They may feel that they are not enough of one or the other. So I think we're getting to see some of that idea. Teenagers finally seeing their parents as like real people who have their own issues, and Ari is starting to realize that like maybe the reason his dad isn't the most approachable guy is possibly because of a lot of the stuff he has dealt with previously, and he's starting to be able to relate with that for the first time. Finally, just a teenager feeling helpless and not knowing their place in the world is just very abundant in this. The writing is very like cut and dry. The dialogue is just super to the point. It's not terribly flowery, but when it is very beautifully written. I kind of wish there was more of that because there isn't a lot of plot. However, the chapters are really short, so it feels like I'm really like blasting through this, which is nice. I went to the library today. I picked up The Dime by Kathleen Kent. This is the book for my summer reading bingo that takes place in the city I grew up. So this is set in Dallas, and it follows a Brooklyn police officer who has recently moved to Dallas. I'm already intrigued from the single chapter I've read. That chapter took place in Brooklyn in 2000, and in the second chapter I've seen it is now in Dallas in 2011. So I'm sure we're going to try and have to be like piecing together why it is she moved to Dallas. I'm excited to start on this one. It's not too long. It's a mystery, and I usually fly through those a lot faster. I forgot to video it, but tonight was movie night with my two best friends. We've been working through the Indiana Jones series now, which is one of my favorites from when I was younger, and we watched The Last Crusade. I will check in with y'all tomorrow. I can't not say it, so one last update. It took 13 pages for them to make a horse joke. Hey y'all, it is Thursday. This is gonna be a weird angle, and I'm gonna admit it's because I'm just too lazy to put up my tripod, so I'm balancing my phone on a blanket on my bed, but let's work with it. So, I'm reading The Dime, and I feel called out when I hit this line. As far as we know, he's headed back west on I-20 toward Juarez in another stolen vehicle. Typical of Texan speak, Craddock pronounces it vehicle. I usually would say vehicle. That's how I said it when I was reading it in my head the first time. I was pretty wrong on what I said last night. We find out pretty quickly that Betty has basically moved to Dallas with her partner because majority of her family is now dead and they wanted to move somewhere new and get a fresh start. Betty is in a long-term relationship with a radiologist named Jackie. So that's pretty cool. They both have very like high stakes jobs and can talk about like serious moments from their work as though they're talking about the weather. So I'm not too invested in the characters or even really the mystery yet, so we'll see, but I'm only like 6 chapters in. However, with that 6 chapters, there has already been a kind of transphobic comment, a kind of ableist comment that's hindrance to my enjoyment. Along with that, from what we've seen so far of the characters we've met, which we have met a fair amount of characters, the only ones who seem to be either Hispanic or Latinx are the criminals, which could be kind of problematic, especially given the fact the setting is in Dallas, Texas. Like, there should be a higher percentage of characters who are either Hispanic or Latinx. So essentially that could just kind of be an issue. We still have a while to go, so like who knows, we might meet some other people, but by this point, I have not listened to any more of Aristotle and Dante today. I'll probably listen to some of it tonight when I'm taking a shower and like getting ready for bed. But for now, I'm about to go over to my brother's. We are back to watching Star Wars Clone Wars. Yeah. That's all I really have going on right now. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. Hey y'all, happy Friday. So I have listened to a little bit more of Aristotle and Dante, and I'm still enjoying it. I think the writing is starting to become a bit more mature as Ari is getting older. I think he's about 17 now, and when I started he was 15. So that's kind of interesting. I guess that must have been an intentional choice for the author. I also ended up getting the ebook for The Lightning Thief last night, and I'm starting on it. And I'm enjoying it so far. It definitely sounds like I'm reading from a 11 or 12-year-old's perspective, which is pretty nice. The humor is definitely middle school-esque, but I mean that makes sense given the fact this was a middle grade. The edition I'm reading also has illustrations in it, and although the last time I tried reading this series I was in like 7th grade, I don't remember there being illustrations in it, so that's like a cool little update. Along with that, just as like a little life update, I recently stopped brushing out my hair to try and embrace my natural curls, and it's getting more pronounced and I'm liking it. It's kind of making me not want to cut my hair, but at the same time I do, because this is thick AF and I live in Texas, it's hot, and that's why 99% of the time in these vlogs, I feel like I have my hair in a bun or ponytail because it's hot and I have a lot of hair. That's all for now, really. I'm gonna try and finish the audiobook for Aristotle and Dante today, and I might possibly read some of The Lightning Thief at points. Since I have it on my phone, I can read it kind of whenever I get a break. We'll see. Update you guys later. Hey y'all, so I realized I forgot to update and I'm about to get ready for bed, but I finished Aristotle and Dante, Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and it was really cute. I think I didn't love this as much as a lot of people seem to, just because personally I think it's definitely one of those like coming to terms with who you are, like teenage contemporaries that I just can't really identify with as much anymore. It definitely was very reminiscent to like Perks of Being a Wallflower from when I was younger, but that being said, I still enjoyed it. It was still a cute book. The ending was very sweet. I liked the writing style more towards the end. I'm glad I did this in audiobook form because I think it would have been a bit more of a drag if I was physically reading it. I have since picked up Late to the Party by Kelly Quindlen, and I'm listening to this on audiobook as well. This story basically follows Cody, who is about to go into her senior year of high school but feels like she hasn't really done a lot of stuff. Her and her friends are kind of very much like homebodies, and they don't really feel as though they fit it anywhere else except for with each other. One night she ends up going to a party and she ends up seeing these two guys kissing, and she sort of starts to bond with one of them. That's all I've really been introduced to so far. She's starting to get a little bit out of her bubble, and there's possibly a romance that's gonna develop over time, I imagine. Cody is a lesbian, one of her best friends is gay, and then her other best friend is bi, so there's plenty of LGBT rep in this. I'm enjoying this so far. I might read some of the dime before bed tonight. If I don't, I will definitely read some tomorrow morning. Hey y'all! So apparently this is my new preferred setup when I'm too lazy to either set up my tripod or set up my desk, and I'm trying to give you guys something new. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna DNF the dime. I am about 100 pages in. As much as I like the little like Dallasisms and references to the area and the culture and things like that, I'm just not really invested in the character, and neither really in the story. The main character, Betty, has two main personality traits, and that is that she is a lesbian and she's tall. That's it. So not really a lot to identify with, and as a character-driven reader, I need something to really bring me in. Along with that, the plot is mostly focused thus far on the cartel storyline, which isn't terribly interesting. It's not really new. The blurb commented that it had drug cartel, a cult leader, as well as a stalker, and like that sounds really interesting altogether, but we haven't seen anything of those others two, and I'm already 100 pages in, and like I'm not terribly interested. On top of that, as I mentioned previously, there was a transphobic comment, an ableist comment. We have yet to meet another Hispanic or Latinx character other than the villain. Basically, any character that meets Betty and realizes she's a lesbian is suddenly very uncomfortable with that fact, and I get it. Texas is in the South. Homophobia is unfortunately still a prevalent issue, but this is set in Dallas. And Dallas is a fairly liberal area. Like, most city areas in Texas are fairly liberal. It's also set in 2013. So, like, can't even say, like, oh, well, you know, the times. No, it's still fairly present day. We're not all, you know, bigots. So, not the biggest fan of that either. Unfortunately, I went for 100 pages in, and the story's just not hooking me, the characters aren't hooking me, so I'm just gonna DNF it, unfortunately. I'm going to continue working on Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and then I've listened to a little bit more of Late to the Party. I think miscommunication is going to be a common factor in this book, but not in terms of a couple, instead in terms of a friend group. I understand why miscommunication is a popular plot device because it really can cause some conflict, but it's not my favorite. And when it is used a lot, it becomes frustrating to me because it's like, just talk. You're friends. Like, it's not that difficult. Like, just talk to your friends. So that might be a bit of a drawback. I'm not sure. We have met the love interest, though. Her name is Lydia. And thus far, there's been a little awkward flirting, and it's pretty cute. I'm appreciating that Cody is starting to get out of her shell a little bit more. She's tried drinking. She went to that party, and she has now met some of Ricky's friends. Ricky is the boy who she saw at the party kissing another guy. So she's starting to like have some new experiences and is getting out of her shell and is realizing like she's had low self-esteem and just felt very complacent for a long time now, and she is no longer happy with that. I'm liking it so far. I'm just apprehensive about the miscommunication plot device that's going to be happening because I can see how it's gonna develop into an issue, and gonna go over to my boyfriend's here soon. Don't know what we're doing yet. See you later. Hey y'all, it's Sunday. I haven't really read anything additionally. I think I've read about a chapter, of The Lightning Thief, and I listened to maybe 30 more minutes of Late to the Party, but nothing really has happened story-wise additionally. So I finished 2 books this week. I've DNF'd 1, and I've started another 2. Look at me, working through. I think I can officially finish everything on my summer reading bingo in August. Yay. The only thing I have left after The Lightning Thief, I believe, is Graceling by Kristen Cashore. So heck yeah, look at me guys. I didn't really video any of it, but my boyfriend and I got Indian food. We made some cookies last night. We made some scones this morning. You know, healthy choices. Tonight is gonna be my self-care night, because it usually is. I painted my toes. I'm gonna take a bath, have a drink, read some more, you know, treat myself. I also don't think I showed off this fantastic hat last time I wore it, but it says infoxicating, and it's a fox with a drink. Anyway, yeah, I never know how to end these, so I'm gonna do my usual ending. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Bye.